Hey there and welcome to my channel. I'm Eglah and this is a safe space for positivity and growth. Now, I asked you guys on my Instagram what is it that you'd like me to cover on this particular topic. I did go through your answers and I loved them because your responses made it so easy for me because I'm able to actually understand what is it that you want me to cover when we come to people pleasing, setting boundaries, and actually how to just get away of those emotions of wanting to please others and just setting and defining your own rules. So it's going to be so interesting and I'm so excited. Let's get into the video. Okay, so I'm guessing you want to stop saying yes all the time, or you want to stop feeling guilty for all the times you're saying no to people because you're really not comfortable with what they're saying and you end up diverting your answer and saying something that they want to hear. That's no problem, guys. We are going to solve this and I'm going to help you understand why is it that we put ourselves in certain situations like this. Again, it's okay. This is why we have such a community here, because I want you guys to understand that the things that I talk about is things that we all go through, so it's perfectly normal if you've gone through instances where you have said yes to people, but you actually don't mean it. You just want to get it over with. It's okay, we've gone through that, and so don't even feel guilty about it. Let's just start. So what is people pleasing? This is putting the needs of people and their wants before yours. Like in every scenario, you're just thinking about what would benefit them instead of thinking about yourself, or you just prioritize it before your priorities. And that's not how it's supposed to go. You're also supposed to put yourself first. Why is it that you're going to be thinking about how to make them happy or comfortable while you're actually not even comfortable in that state? Why is it exactly that you want to say yes sometimes and you actually don't mean it? You're just trying to make this person happy. So I'm going to start with why you would people please in the first place. The first thing is you're a person who wants to avoid conflict. I understand it. I also don't like conflict, and in such instances you are always just going to find a way to just make this person who wants to start a conflict win, and that could be the reason why you would put their needs first. And in that way you end up sacrificing your own beliefs, you end up sacrificing what you are pushing for just so that there is no conflict. And the thing is that you cannot always be the one to handle it. I understand sometimes when you're trying to just resolve some conflicts, it's because you feel like you have that responsibility to always take care of others, but the thing is that you don't. You might be someone who has so many responsibilities, and in every setting that you go to, you feel like if things go wayward, you're responsible for it, or if things don't go the way they're intended to, it's because you didn't speak out, or it's because you didn't do something about it. I think you see where I'm going with this. Sometimes for people who are actually in settings where they're always responsible, it's you that's given the priority for things and people always depend on you, you tend to actually take this kind of mentality so many places that you go to, and you always feel like you're the one who is accountable for everyone's mistakes. And so you need to understand that you're not responsible for everyone, you're not responsible for every kind of conflict solving. You don't need to go out of your way every time just to make other people happy, because in the end you might end up hurting yourself, and that's not what we want. The second thing is the fear of rejection. Sometimes we feel like we might be ostracized for saying certain things. Sometimes we feel like we'll be left behind, or my friends don't actually understand why I take my stance on this kind of thing. And so if I actually just say yes to whatever they're saying, if I just agree to what they're saying, then it's going to make them love me better. The thing with people pleasing is that there are a number of factors why you're doing this. I've just mentioned that you're seeking approval, but at the same time you want people to love you. You want people to be able to stand you. But do you know what it's costing you actually? They're not going to love you for you saying yes to everything that they're suggesting. They are not going to love you because you're agreeing with them. That's not real friendship, that's not real love. People need to be able to stand you even if your answer is no. People need to stand you even if you're saying, I don't agree with what you're saying and this is because why. Now learn to actually explain yourself in this manner. If someone is pushing you so much, just say no, and you don't necessarily need to explain yourself. I love it when people just maintain their stance. When I'm talking about something and someone is like, no, I actually get happy about it and I will respect what they're saying. You actually get respect for that. So don't ever conform just because people are pushing you to decide on something that they want because it's going to benefit them. Think about yourself for once as well. Number 3 is need for control. I know it's quite weird that I'm saying need for control and you're literally accepting what people are saying. Now listen to this. I mentioned the first point on you not wanting to listen to conflicts and you just want to resolve them. Sometimes when you people please and you're saying yes to people, it's because you also want some type of control. And what kind of control are you looking for? You want people to be happy, and you feel like you can control how they can act towards you, but you really can't. You really can't. I tell my friends so many times when they're going through something and we're trying to resolve this, I try to tell them that you have no power whatsoever as to how this person is going to react. If you gave them a piece of your mind, if you told them, I don't want this, or I told them that this is what is going to happen, how they react is entirely not up to you, because you said what you said and that's it. And so sometimes we feel like we want the most control with everything in our lives, and we feel that by us not entertaining conflict, by us making people happy, we are setting some kind of control in our lives, but it's actually not. And the thing is that you're not going to be in control if people are happy, because not every instance will guarantee everyone's happiness. Because let's say you're 7 in a group, not everyone is going to agree with one particular thing. That is why we do the majority votes, because not everyone is going to agree to a particular thing. And if you end up trying to please everyone, not everyone is gonna be happy, and you need to be okay with that. You need to understand that your decision is your decision, even if it won't make other people happy. Now, another point is low self-esteem. This is usually in so many of my points when I'm talking about different things. And again, I'm going to mention that so many of your decisions, especially when it comes to your personal growth, they tend to intertwine. And so if you're not self-confident, it's so hard for you to self-validate, and you're going to seek validation from others. If you're not confident, you are going to end up not setting boundaries, and you're going to want to please others. And so you maintaining your self-worth is very important. And sometimes, even as you try to please others, they might feel it, they might see it, and they won't really respect you that much. They will not seek for your opinion in some things, and your opinion really matters. And so just make sure that you're boosting your self-esteem every time. I keep telling you guys, self-affirm. It's one of the things that I do so many times. You affirm yourself every single time. You're feeling low? Let me give you one that can actually help in this instance of you pleasing other people and not setting boundaries. Now we're almost done with this, so that I can actually go to setting boundaries, and also why sometimes you don't set boundaries, and then we can discuss this as a whole. I wanted you to actually understand why people pleasing is there sometimes, so that we can actually intertwine it with setting boundaries. Let's say you're not confident. What are the kind of affirmations that you should say? You saying that I am beautiful. You saying that my opinions are valid. You saying that I am smart, especially saying that you're smart, that you're a genius. Say it all the time. I say that to myself a lot. I hope you're actually going to take affirmations very seriously. I can also just put it on my screen here, give you some affirmations that you can say, and I hope that they're really going to help you. So let's go on to setting boundaries. I got a number of responses where people were saying they'd like to know how to not feel guilty about saying no to people. The easiest way I can tell you this is to just say no, like you've said. You've said no, don't feel guilty about it. And this is because you don't owe this other person something. And I'm actually going to show you how to set these boundaries. Hopefully, once we do this, you're going to be able to not feel guilty at all. So the first one is to understand your limits. What is your limit and what are your needs? When you're able to establish this, you'll be able to understand that sometimes when someone offers me a particular thing to do, I'm going to say no because this isn't something that I need. I am going to say no because my values do not align with whatever they want me to do. And once you've established this, you can never be in a situation where you have cognitive dissonance. I'm actually going to put the definition of this. Because you already know what your values are. You already know that you cannot stretch beyond what your values are, what you've already put in regard to yourself. So I'm going to give you an example. If one of your values is you want to spend some personal time this weekend, and your friend invites you for something, you're just going to say, I need to recharge, I need to spend time with myself, and I'm not going to be available. That's it. You don't need to go beyond and stretch and say things, because they need to be able to understand that you've already established something. Those are the kind of values that you want. You want to be able to spend time with yourself. Just say it and then that's it. Number 2 is be clear and assertive. And when I say this, I mean do not keep running around trying to justify why they have actually asked you to do something. Don't go back to it. Once you've already established and say that I need time for myself, and then that's it. Do not keep running back around and asking yourself, have I done that kind of thing? That's actually when you start feeling guilty about things, because you are going back to it and you really don't have to. Number 3 is using I statements. What do I mean by that? When someone is asking you for a particular thing, let's say someone asks you to do a particular job for them because they won't be able to do it, and you know really well that you also have tons of things you need to do, just say that I need to prioritize some of the things that I have to do, and therefore I really cannot help you with that. And that's it. Instead of saying, you need my help, I'm sorry about it, don't make it about them. Once you're able to actually make it about you, you're going to be able to use the I statements, and it's going to be very easy for you to consider what is it that you're feeling. I mentioned this when I began the video about people pleasing. You want to put their needs before you. But once you start using I statements, you're going to realize that it's about you at the moment. I really cannot be able to do that. I don't have time for that. I have other commitments that I need to get back to. And you won't actually have the time to put their needs and priorities before you, because you're already establishing that I need to do this particular thing. I am not going to have the time to do that, okay? Point number 4 is you also need to respect other people's boundaries. And the thing is, this is because you need to be able to learn how to respect boundaries for you to be able to set your own boundaries. If I cannot respect some of the boundaries that my friend has set for herself, for me, then I cannot be able to actually set my own, because if I cannot respect someone else's boundaries, how am I actually going to be able to make mine? You get what I mean with this? If someone has established certain boundaries with themselves, be it on their values, their beliefs, respect that. If they don't want you to talk about a particular thing when you're with them, then don't talk about it, because it probably makes them uncomfortable or they're not really for it. Keep it to yourself. Once you're able to actually respect other people's boundaries and what they've set in place, it will be so easy for you to also respect your own boundaries and actually set them, so that people can also respect yours as well. If you're in a situation where people don't respect your boundaries, it's okay, just stick by it and do not even try to tweak it in any way.